What's up, YouTubers? I hope everybody out there had an awesome week 3. I didn't get to see all the games because I was working most of yesterday, but I have seen all the highlights, and I did get to watch the Sunday night game and a little bit of the games yesterday morning. So let me give you my thoughts. First game I will talk about is the Sunday night game, Dolphins versus Jets. This was a really competitive game. It was really entertaining from a fan standpoint. I mean, this is one of those games you could go and pretty much watch from start to finish, no problem, and be entertained the entire time. The Jets scored with about 2 minutes left to give them like an 8-point lead. And the Dolphins got the ball back, ended up driving the ball all the way down the field, and then weren't able to score, so they did end up losing the game. Brandon Marshall had an awesome game. I think he caught for like 150 yards. He was all over the place, and as a Bronco fan, I didn't like to see that. But I've always known he is a great wide receiver, and I still believe that. The Jets, their offense is actually starting to get it together. Mark Sanchez isn't looking as bad as he did all of last season. So let's see. I can see the Jets really start to go on a big winning streak now. I know they lost, I believe it was the first game of the season against the Ravens, but from now on out, I mean, they just seem to they seem to be getting stronger week in and week out. So I could see them winning the AFC East, which I don't like to say. Next game we move on to San Diego Chargers, Seattle Seahawks. This was the game that I was most stoked about all weekend, as the Seattle Seahawks upset the San Diego Chargers 27-20. They had two kickoff returns by the same guy, and one of my friends told me that now he holds the record for kickoff returns in Seattle, so that's pretty cool. He could just do it all in one game. I'm loving the Chargers losing. I think Philip Rivers threw for a bunch of passing yards, but they weren't able to come up with the victory. This was one of the games that I didn't see. I just saw the highlights. But just off my reaction, I'm really stoked as a Bronco fan because I hate the Chargers. And I know there's a lot of Charger fans out there, and I know you guys are probably disappointed. Raiders Cardinals. I did see a little bit of this game, not too much on the internet while I was at work. And I did see the Raiders lose the game on the last play of the game. Janikowski missed it must not have been further than like a 35-yard field goal to win the game. This from one of the greatest kickers, or not one of the greatest kickers, but back in the day, he was a very good kicker, probably the best kicker in football, at least the kicker with the strongest leg. And now he can't even knock in a 35-yarder to win the game. But it's just typical. Just the way things go, I guess, if you're a Raiders fan. But yeah, the Cardinals or the Raiders don't look too good this year. I expect both of those teams to be in the bottom echelon of the NFL this year. So I'm not going to talk too much about it. And I'm going to move on to the game that I was really disappointed about, Colts Broncos. I kind of saw it coming. I really didn't think the Broncos were going to win this game. I thought they had a chance of at least making it competitive since they were in Invesco at Mile High. But no, the Colts ended up winning 27-13. Something I don't understand about this is Kyle Orton is almost thrown. This game he threw for like 476 yards passing, and the Broncos were only able to put up 13 yards or 13 points. Sorry, that's pretty ridiculous to me. And if you look at his numbers, he's been throwing for almost 400 yards every game this year, and yet the Broncos are 1-2 and really aren't putting that many points on the board. So it was disappointing for me. But move on. It's not too bad to take a loss to the Colts, I guess. So fuck it. Eagles Jaguars. The Eagles destroyed the Jaguars. Michael Vick is just looking better week in and week out. I really can't wait to see him face a defense that's actually good. He hasn't played a too competitive. He played the Lions last week and the Jaguars this week. I'm not sure who the Eagles play next week. Does not say here. But I want to see him face up against a defense that actually do something against him. This game wasn't even close, 28-3. I believe Michael Vick threw for 3 touchdown passes and rushed for 1. So he's all over the place right now. This one, maybe biggest upset of the weekend. Rams beating the Redskins 30-16. I don't think anybody saw this coming. If you'd ask me, I would say the Rams are probably the most under-talented team in the league. Other than Steven Jackson, they really don't have a strong team. And the Redskins, who I picked to win the NFC East this year, letting me down and losing to the Rams, just seriously disappointing. Donovan McNabb had a decent game, but I mean, you got to be able to beat the Rams. You just have to be able to beat that team if you want to be a playoff contender. So they're gonna have to start getting their shit together, and I think they will. I still have them to win that division, and I still think they will win that division. Saints Falcons. This was a really competitive, good game too. Back and forth all game. The Saints kicker ended up missing a field goal at the last second to let, or I think it was in overtime actually, to let the Falcons come back and end up winning that game. Disappointing if you're a Saints fan, but I don't think the Saints will have any problem for the rest of the season. You're going to lose a game here and there to a competitive good team like the Falcons. Drew Brees looked awesome all game. So as far as like talent wise and player standpoint, I think the Saints will be fine. I think the Falcons will be good too. They destroyed some team last week. I don't remember who it was, and then they come out and win this week. So I think they're getting better week in and week out too. Vikings finally got their first win over the Lions. Not going to talk too much about this. They should have. I still don't think the Vikings looked extremely sharp. Adrian Peterson had a really good game, but other than that, the Vikings got to get their shit together. Cowboys also finally got their first win over the Texans. I was kind of disappointed about this. I really don't like the Cowboys, and I kind of do like the Texans. I thought this was going to be a more competitive game. This was one of the games that I was watching yesterday morning, and basically the Cowboys just took it to them all game. I think this is one of those situations where, if a talented team goes 0-2, they start getting really hungry and really desperate, and it doesn't matter who they're playing, they're going to come up with a victory. And I think that's kind of what happened. Huge shocker. The Chiefs destroy the 49ers 31-10. 49ers, I don't know what is up with the 49ers right now. They are just not looking good at all. I wouldn't call for Mike Singletary's head, although I've never thought he was a good coach. I don't know what the big hype is about him. I think, honestly, his players just kind of think he's an asshole, and maybe that's why they don't play for him so hard. But from an optimistic point of view, the Chiefs winning my division right now, winning the AFC West at 3-1. They just find ways to win ball games. I mean, I think that's the best way to put it. They use their special teams, they use creative plays just to get points on the board, and then they hold on to their leads. And right now they're coming up with W's, so can't complain if you're a Chiefs fan. Ravens beat the Browns by a touchdown. I didn't see too much of this game. I saw the highlights. I will say that the Ravens probably should have beat the Browns by more than that, but they come up with a victory, so you can't complain. Patriots barely edged by the Bills. Didn't see too much of that game either, although I do believe Tom Brady threw for like almost 400 yards passing. So the Patriots offense looking good. Defense not so much, letting up 30 points to an under-talented Bills team. Probably have to get that fixed going into week 4. But moving on, the Steelers take care of the Bucks. The Steelers just no problem without Ben Roethlisberger. This team is actually looking really good this year. I'm going to say it right now, start watching out for the Steelers. Because when Ben comes back and that offense really starts clicking, and that defense, obviously, probably the best defense in the league, just unstoppable. Bengals beat the Panthers 20-7, as to be expected. Titans took it to the Giants. I couldn't believe this game. I thought it was going to be more competitive, or at least more close than it was. Chris Johnson rushed for like 135, although he didn't look extremely explosive. They kind of just kept handing the ball to him until he got his 100 yards. Vince didn't look great, but he didn't look awful either. I didn't think Eli looked good at all, and the Giants' defense just not as strong as they once were. But that's it for now, and let me give you my prediction pick for tonight, which should be a very good Monday night game. Bears versus Packers. I'm going to take the Packers in this one. I'm going to take the Packers by 3. I'm going to say 20-17. I think this game is going to be back and forth all game. Jay Cutler's actually having a really good season so far. I don't like Jay Cutler, but that's just me. I do like Aaron Rodgers. He's also having a really good season. I would almost even say watch out for Aaron Rodgers for MVP. But that's pretty much it for me right now. I'll say Packers win that game 20-17. Comment and tell me what you think, all you NFL fans out there. And I will be back later this week.